Schindler. Oh, what a shot! It's there! Alan Gordon's hat-trick.
There's Harper coming up. It's it! Almost 19 minutes gone. Joe Harper makes a score. Hits one. Liverpool nothing.
Un tir dans le but. Un envoi de Darren Jackson.
Gets away from the second defender. Luna! Unbelievable! And there's the final whistle, right on the final whistle. It was the last touch of the ball.
Die Hibernians sollten nochmal einen Gang zulegen, angetrieben von den Fans an der Easter Road. In der Mitte wieder der Goalgetter, da ist er, Sproul! Und da ist alles Pech zusammengekommen.
McGeoch's corner, then it comes, Holt can't get there. McGregor's knocked it in, a chance, the ball's it's in the back of the net, and Hibs have the equalising goal in aggregate, and it's the skipper David Gray.
It's forward now for Mark Boylis, it's a chance, and it's been tapped in! Fogalberry in a back post! Sensational here!
Hello and welcome to our pre-match podcast for Thursday night's game between Molde FK and Hibernian. My name's Colin Miller. I'm joined by James Delaney, sat as the Hibernian squad go through their paces. Matchday -1. James, we're sat in the Aker Stadium. What awaits Hibs fans coming here on Thursday?
I mean, it's a brilliant little stadium. Kind of puts me in mind of what maybe like Almond Vale should be. Sort of two tiers, but it is quite small. It's quite compact. I believe the capacity is about 12,000. Traditionally, sort of Molde get crowds of about half that. So I think bringing 400 or 500 Hibs fans here, creating quite a boisterous atmosphere. It should be pretty loud. It is very enclosed. But yeah, it's a nice enough little stadium, and I'm sure it'll look a lot better with a sea of green and white in the away end.
No, absolutely. It's a fantastic kind of compact stadium on a very scenic location.
Yeah.
And as you say, size-wise, it's probably very similar to what a lot of Scottish Premiership and Championship sides would be playing in, but you get the feeling it feels like a bigger arena. You've got some nice safe standing areas, and I think we're expecting around kind of 400 to 500 Hibs supporters over tomorrow. It feels as if it's a big occasion, and it feels as if that atmosphere will be brought to the table on Thursday.
Yeah, I think one of the things the travelling supporters will notice, or one of the first things they'll notice, is it doesn't look like a stadium from the outside. It looks like a sort of office block, but it's much more impressive once you're actually in here. I think on this sort of European journey that we've been on, we've had to travel the road less. We've had to take the road less travelled. It's not been the easiest destinations to get to, but the fact that we've still got 400 or 500 fans making the trip by plane, by boat, swimming, not really sure. It seems to be everybody's finding a way to get here, 2 or 3 flights, but they're making the trip, and I think it's definitely going to feel more of a home atmosphere for us, and definitely for the players on the pitch when they all get here.
As customary for the Matchday -1, as it's called, we had the press conferences from both sides. Let's have a listen to all of Gunnar Solskjaer's thoughts.
How are you fixed for the match tomorrow night? Your squad?
Confidence is better and sky high, really, after Sunday, because we had a really good game over the weekend. So I think we're ready for the game. Yeah.
What is the situation with Haaland?
He's still my player. He was last Wednesday as well when I spoke to you, and he travelled. So, but I can't foresee any journeys for him. So hopefully he's available for tomorrow.
Does the window close tonight?
In Norway, to sign players, it's closing tonight, but the European transfer window is open, so it leaves us in a bother. It leaves, say, the English clubs in Premier League in a bother, because when it's closed, other teams can buy or bid for your players, and you're stuck with no one. You can't score goals with money. You need the players, so hopefully I've got him available for tomorrow.
Despite all the speculation, he had a great performance against Brann, so he's obviously not been affected by it.
No, as a young kid you don't get affected by by that, you just look forward to getting back on the pitch, and he was flying from the beginning off. So he was outstanding, as the team were, because we were a different team compared to what we were over in Scotland on Thursday. I thought we were, call it apprehensive. We were a bit cautious. I don't think the lads knew exactly what was awaiting. They were a bit, what's the crowd going to be, atmosphere going to be, and it was outstanding. And the more the game grew, the lads grew in confidence as well, and they enjoyed the game.
So Hibs will play a very different Molde team tomorrow then?
Well, I hope so, because we were not up to standard last game. But then again, a draw away from home you're happy with. But we couldn't score a goal, and that's in Europe. That away goal is vital. So we've got to defend properly. We can't give them easy chances. But then it's down to us to be the more creative and dominant side, probably at home.
Were there any particular Hibs players last week that you liked?
Well, I think as a team, David had the best of the chances when one of my lads slipped on a corner. But you've got pace up front that we're aware of. I know the new boy Hinman is also a creative player. I think Malin. We gave him too many chances to shoot, and if you do that too many times, he'll score. But it was pace in the team and counter-attacking ability, so we're aware of that.
One of Hibs' fastest players with the pace is obviously Martin Boyle. Was
yeah.
it someone that you were quite impressed with? He caused a few problems.
Yeah, we knew about him before the game as well. He's one of the, call it the X Factor guys, and you can see at the weekend as well. He creates a goal. He creates 2 or 3 fantastic chances. So it's a player we're aware of, but you got to be aware of players at this level. You can't just say, well, one player beats your team. You're going to play against quality players all round.
How big a game is this for Molde? How many fans are you expecting to the match?
It depends. I don't know how many we've sold, but hopefully it's a Thursday night. It doesn't really command for the most supporters, but at the weekend we had 7.5. So hopefully 7,000-8,000. Probably, yeah, because the mood in town and in the club is good now. We've just beat the league leaders, yeah. And this is a big game for us. And school starts soon, so people are coming back from holidays.
When you spoke to us in Edinburgh, you said the Europa League campaign is one of the highlights of the season.
For the players, definitely.
So does this feel like one of your biggest games of the season?
Yeah, it does. It does, because. But then again, you've still got another round to go through. The aim and the goal is to get a group stages. You're not going to win the Europa League, but just the adventure of a group stages would be fantastic. And it'll give us a boost for the rest of the season, because we're hoping to give Brann and Rosenborg, or we're hoping to chase them.
How big an achievement would it be for Molde to get into the group stage in context?
Well, we did in 2015 when we beat Celtic twice and we won the group. So of course it's 3 years ago since we managed that. And for a club like us, if you do it every 3 or 4 years, it's in our strategy plan or our goal and aims. So that means we would have reached our goal.
That game against Celtic was quite a famous one. It was a difficult night for Celtic. Yeah. You hope for another sort of.
Of course, that was my first game back after Cardiff. So don't give me any credit for that one. 'Cause I sat in the stands and just enjoyed it. I just had a training session the day before and I enjoyed the game. 3-0, 3-1. But we played some fantastic stuff. And of course, this pitch is not as Celtic we're used to, or other teams are used to, so it might give us an advantage, who knows.
So you're not taking the credit for that, but you can take
no.
the credit for this.
If we manage to go through now, yeah, I've been a part of it since the Celtic game.
Okay. I was just wondering, have you spoken to Sir Alex Ferguson since his health problem?
Yes, I have done, yeah.
And how is he? How's he getting on?
He seems to be in good health, good spirit, and he's certainly not lost his sense of humour. So that's great.
I was wondering if you'd spoken to him ahead of playing a Scotland.
No, I haven't. No, but I might just send him a text. I just thought, because it was round about last week when he sent the message on Twitter, so I thought I'd leave him alone, but I might just do tonight.
Okay. Was Sunday the best you've played this season?
Yes, definitely. I think, you know, the third goal we scored is one of the best, the goals I've enjoyed the most of my teams ever. We had 51 touches and they had 1 block in that particular play. So confidence growing at home, I have to say, and we can score goals by keeping possession and we can counter-attack and some set pieces. So that's, at least we got goals from many places.
So you're a lot more confident now than you would have been immediately off the back of Edinburgh?
Yes, I thought coming away with a draw is good, but then again we didn't get the away goal. But when I see my boys play like they did, that's just what I want. That's what I've grown up with a gaffer. He's just go out, express yourself, show me your qualities, freedom, creativity, but work hard. We ran our bollocks off and we played some good football.
So that was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer speaking, and I think the impression that certainly the assembled media got was a lot of confidence on the back of Sunday's result.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely smashed Brann, who the league leaders at the moment in Norway, 5-1 here. So they're clearly a side who knows where the back of the net is. You'd expect them to be going into the game in a confident mood, being at home and, you know, effectively starting from, or they are starting from zero. You know, but I mean, the complexion of that game completely changes tomorrow. If we get a goal, they need to come out and get 2. From our point of view, it's all about taking our chances. We've created plenty of chances in the European games and the league games that we've had already this season. And so, you know, it strikes me as it's going to be another very even game. I think it's going to be possibly we're going to see more of an attacking side of Molde compared to last week. You'd expect that with them being at home, but certainly I don't think we have anything to fear, and Molde are a beatable side. It's just going to be a slightly harder task to do that.
I think when you looked at the Norwegian League even before Sunday's game, if you broke down Molde stats, they were the top scorers or joint top goal scorers in the league, and so when you read that going into last Thursday's game and knowing the form that we've been in, I don't think 0-0 was probably your odds-on result.
No, and I think it's very tight at the top of the Norwegian leagues. I think Brann, Rosenborg and Molde are only separated by a few points, so there's obviously 3 teams of quite a similar standard. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think Molde have scored about 25 or 26 goals in their last 6 home games, so they're kind of the Norwegian Hibs in a way. We both, you know, clearly know where the back of the net is and clearly know how to find it, but yeah, it was a bit of a surprising one last week for it to turn out 0-0. I don't think many people would have been you know, picking up their winnings from the bookies from that one.
And would you expect Molde being the home side and probably more comfortable in that attacking shape and attacking style of play, you'd expect them to take the game to Hibs tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last week it was a very sort of tetchy and very tense game at times. It felt sort of both sides were, you know, one misplaced pass or one bad clearance away from conceding a goal. But at the same time, you know, they both looked relatively comfortable on the ball. I think it'll be a very different Molde side, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said in his press conference, that we face this time. That's, you know, obviously scored 5 goals at the weekend against the league leaders. I think Brann might be the champions at the moment as well. So obviously that's going to be a massive confidence boost and a huge motivator, really for both teams. Is the fact that we are now 1 round away from the playoffs, and you know, we talk about the goal scoring prowess of both sides. It could well be settled by just 1 goal.
And one player who wasn't involved for Molde last week, striker Haaland. Now, plenty of speculation last Wednesday and Thursday. He obviously wasn't involved at Easter Road. Similar speculation surrounds the match this time round. Ole Gunnar had a great line from his press conference that money doesn't buy you goals, money doesn't score goals. We may or may not see him tomorrow, but I guess there's a danger that Hibs could be too focused on on that one player, knowing that there's goals spread across the team?
Yeah, I mean, Money might not score goals, but Haaland certainly does. He's, you know, some player, watching sort of videos of him as soon as Molde came out of the hat, and seeing the clubs that are apparently keeping an eye on him. It's quite easy to see that he's got all the talent in the world, and a fantastic player. But I think last week it felt like it almost even decides a bit, where we lost John McGinn just before the game. They lost or didn't lose Haaland, depending on what you read about that. But yeah, you wonder, you know, if from a Molde point of view it's exactly the same. You know, if it turns out that Haaland can play, then, you know, they can play to their natural game plan. They can play to that game plan that got them a 5-1 win at the weekend. If he doesn't, they have to amend that. They have to make changes. So you know, it's, for both sides, it's difficult to predict. I guess we'll need to wait until 7 o'clock tomorrow and find out.
Today we also had the pre-match thoughts of Neil Lennon and Lewis Stevenson. Let's have a listen to their thoughts now.
Lewis, are you ready for this?
Yeah, you know, I've had a lot of games recently. It stands us in good stead, and you know, hopefully it's just a small part of our journey. We've got a long way to go, and now we're looking forward to it.
This is probably the 6th or 7th game already this season for you. By playing games, you know, Thursday, Sunday, you've not been training much. You know, so how do you prepare for a game like this?
You know, I do a lot of video stuff, but I think the games are the best way to prepare. You know, we almost feel up and running as if it is the middle of the season now. You know, I've played in Europe in the past where we've had 1 or 2 games and it doesn't quite feel the same, but I think we'll feel sharp enough and match ready to go.
You've had some massive moments in a Hibs jersey. If you were to get to the Europa League group stage, where would that rank among your achievements?
I think that would be the ultimate achievement. You know, we've had good league success last year. We've had good runs in the cup as well, but to do it on a European level would be the biggest of all, I think. And as I said, we're not quite there yet, but we've got a massive game tomorrow night, and you know, we could make history again.
It says a lot about the change of mentality at Hibs that you're into these games, and instead of Tripoli, Molde, I think there's a real chance to progress rather than it just being an outsider shot.
Yeah, probably in previous years, you know, when I first came to Hibs, it was, you'd kind of just go for the experience, you'd go and enjoy the kind of European trip, but you know, we set out that we want to progress and we want to be successful, and you know, so far we've done pretty well, but as I say, we're not quite there yet.
Listen, I just spoke about patience and managing games, but how's Stevenson learning curve been? How much have you learned?
Yeah, it's a totally different style for you know what we play in the SPL. We used to play in the same teams 4 or 5 times a season, and you know, the Greek team, even the Faroe team, and you know, Molde as well, they all play a different style of football, and it's something that you need to get grips to the first 5-10 minutes of the game, and you know, so far we've done that, and it'll be no different tomorrow night.
You're unlucky not to take a lead across here, but you get the clean sheet. What kind of game do you expect tomorrow night?
You know, they're going to be good at home. I think they're going to come and expect to win, but you know, we showed in Greece that we can compete away from home, and you know, I think 0-0 at home. Maybe at the time we were disappointed, but it's not such a bad result in Europe.
It would take a brave man to back Hibs not to score an away goal, and that would be a moment that would completely change the tide, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. We know we've got players on the team that are capable of scoring and changing games that are on a knife edge, so we'll see what happens.
Is there a sense that the club's in a bit of history here? I mean, there's a lot of history behind it. The magnitude of the occasion is huge.
Yeah, in the last couple of seasons, I think have been kind of beating records here and there, and as I said before, I think this would be the biggest of them all. You know, I didn't realise how long it'd been since we'd been this far in Europe, and you know, went through so many stages. So, you know, as I said, we're not quite there yet. So.
Is there a feeling you haven't come so far, you just can't let it slip?
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence in the squad. I mean, it's going to be a tough task tomorrow night, but you know, we're confident in the ability in the squad, and see what happens.
You must feel confident though that the way you've started the season and the amount of goals you've scored. goals there for you?
Yeah, we know we're a dangerous team. We've maybe let in more than we wanted, but in the last couple of games it's been a bit different, and we've steadied the ship. So we're going to need to score at some point tomorrow night, so that's going to be a massive thing. And not just that, we're going to have to be pretty solid at the back as well.
This is a club that, like the plastic pitch, how much of a hurdle is that for you to adapt to?
We're used to it now in the SPL. There's 3 or 4 pitches that they're played on, and a lot of us have been brought up on AstroTurf pitches, so we can't use that as an excuse. At Hibs and previously we always trained on plastic pitches, so no, we'll be as used to it as they are.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was pretty bullish earlier after their 5-1 run over Iran at the weekend. Was that a result that raised any eyebrows among the boys?
No, we can't focus too much on that. We'll do videos. We played them last week. We got a good look at them, and we'll be well prepped, and hopefully we can give them some problems. I'm sure they'll give us some problems.
Do you feel as though these trips in Europe have galvanised the unit together closer?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time with each other recently, and it seems like we've seen more of the boys than we do our family. So not everyone's close. It's a tight knit squad, and that might be the difference going out on top.
Well, Neil, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was pretty bullish. He said his team will be a different team than the one that turned up at Easter Road last week. You ready for them?
Well, we will be ready for them. We've got another day's preparation. We'll train tonight and we'll do some analytical work. It's a big game for us, huge game. They've got maybe more European experience. I didn't think there was much between the teams. I think they had decent possession at times, but it didn't hurt us. We're away from home. We know that'll be different now. But we know if we don't get beat, we go through. We either win the game or a score draw, and we're through. So we have to, make the most of that platform that we've given ourselves from the first game. And I felt we were very unlucky not to take a lead over there.
What do you expect then from them if the manager's saying that they will be different this time?
I would imagine they would try and take the game to us. They have good variation in their play, and they're scoring goals. They got 5 at the weekend against Brann, which I think Brann were top of the league. So as a confidence booster, that must give them a real incentive for the game tomorrow night. We know that they're dangerous. At this stage of the competition for us, it's a big step up in class, and I didn't think there was much between the teams. I just hope we can stay mentally strong in the tie, not get too emotional, and we will have to be patient. We will maybe have to rely on a goalkeeper again to make some saves, as our goalkeeper did in Edinburgh, and take a chance or two when they come along. But what I want us to do is create chances.
Which goalkeeper will it be?
It'll be Bogdan.
He's fit, is
he? He's fit, yeah. So he trained tonight and comes through that okay. We had him penciled in to play tomorrow night, so nothing's changed from that point of view.
Do you think this is the biggest game since you took over as Hibs manager? Do you think this is the biggest game as Hibs head coach?
I think in terms of the magnitude of what's in front of us, then yeah, this is European level of football. We're one game away from the playoffs, so yeah, in terms of certainly not domestic wise, we've had some big games in domestically over the past couple of years. Obviously getting promotion was great, and we had a great season last year, a couple of semi-finals along the way. But in terms of for the profile of the club and where we want to take the team, then yeah, the magnitude of the game is big.
It's a big test for your players, but how big a test is it for your coaching capabilities as well?
Well, it's a very stiff one. It's not something that we're used to. Different environment. Yeah, the pitch is a artificial pitch, not ideal, but we've played on artificial pitches many times before. It looks a wide pitch, which may suit us. We like to play quite expansively. We rode our luck a little bit in Greece, but we really should have had the tie put away before we put ourselves under pressure. So we have to learn from that. And I think Molde are quite streetwise, and they've got some good technicians in their team as well. And we don't know whether Holland will be eligible to play or not. If he is, then he's one to keep an eye on as well.
Who do you think's in the driving seat at the moment?
I think it's 50-50. I think obviously with the home advantage it gives Molde, a slight edge, but they're on the cusp of, if we score they've got to get 2. So we are capable of scoring. We have tidied up defensively, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and we always seem to create chances, and that's going to be, at the forefront of my mind tomorrow as well.
Was there anything about them, having seen them last week, that surprised you at all?
Not really, no. I mean, they were fit, obviously. They're midway through their season, well ahead of us in terms of games. Technically very good. They had a bit of pace in their team, and their rotation was excellent in midfield. They passed the ball around, quite comfortably, but never got beyond us. Don't remember Ross having a save to make. But I think that will be different tomorrow. We have to be really on our guard and fully concentrated of the threat that they bring. They've got good pace in wide areas, and they're a very athletic team as well.
Is there a sense that there's more levels for them to go up because they're still got to grow into the game?
I hope not. But a lot will depend on how we approach the game as well. I don't think we're the type of team that can sit off teams and let them pick their way through the pitch. So we try and stop them, and play a different style of football to what they're used to. Be very much a British style of play from us, but we can handle the ball, and particularly in the final third, where we can be a threat. Set players will be important in the game as well.
There's been a lot of talk about Haaland, Neil, but I mean, you and Martin Boyle in his recent form, you've got a player who can hurt any defence with that kind of play.
He's outstanding. I think he's just been out since I've come in the door, and he was a squad player, and he's picked his way forward. He's got better every season. He's a player at the top of his game, I think, and he's a real handful. And yeah, I'm glad he's in our team. I think he's as good as any winger in Scotland in terms of, his threat, his final ball. He scored a great goal against Motherwell. He was a real threat again against Molde, and we're hoping more of the same tomorrow. And when you see him in full flow, it gives you a real boost.
Do you feel as though he gets the recognition in the minutes for the way that he's pushed them?
No. I think he's capable of playing at a higher level. There's no question of that.
Could he play in international football then?
I don't know yet. I don't know. But I think certainly this European campaign will, stand him in good stead for that, the experience. And, he's certainly one of the best attacking players in the league last year. And he's picked up where he left off from that.
Your team, Neil, how have you watched them evolve in these European ties up to now? You think that they have improved and you've got used to playing European football?
No, not used to it. I mean, you need to be doing it year in, year out, really, to get a real sort of feel for the European game. I mean, this is the first decent run at it, and they're learning as they go along. I thought there was no panic about them last week, when things could have went against them or we didn't score. There was no rushing around or, any loose play, really. So that pleased me. And the 0-0 pleased me to a certain extent. I thought, like I said, we hit the bar. Goalkeeper made a few good saves towards the end. We could have taken a lead there, and that would have been a fantastic result. However, we didn't, and we'll need more of the same tomorrow.
It's different styles of
yes.
Up against weekend.
Yes.
Learning curve for the players.
Absolutely, yes. They've got good rotation. Like I said, the wide men come in, join off the striker. Fullbacks get forward. The midfield three are very comfortable on the ball, very adept. Sarr did a very good job in screening the front of the two centre-halves. And the goalkeeper played well. I was impressed with the goalkeeper. So, yeah, they're a very, very slick outfit, like I said before the game, and nothing changed in my mind from that afterwards.
And Neil touched on there that the defence had tightened up a little bit over the last three games. I think our early European matches filled with goals carried on from the tail end of last season, but there's probably an element of satisfaction. 0-0 last Thursday, and we're very tight at the weekend there as well. That will obviously stand us in good stead for Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, one goal conceded over the past 3 games is not a record to be sniffed at, and especially considering the way we ended last season and started this season, where it was just goals galore. It certainly deserves credit, and deserves a pat on the back for Neil Lennon and his coaching staff for working with the players and helping us tighten that up, because we've not really brought in any new defensive players at all. So to get sort of a different reaction out of the same players is no mean feat. But you suspect tomorrow both sides, go to win the game and gun in for goals. You expect there might be a few, although we said that last week as well. So who knows?
It's not a completely dissimilar situation to the one we found ourselves going to Greece. Now, obviously, we had a goal advantage, but they had the 2 away goals. So the game was on a knife edge where one goal could swing it either way. We come not having scored in the first leg, but with a clean sheet, knowing that if we score, they need to come out, they need to score twice. That will really dictate and kind of shape the early proceedings in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But and I'm sure the message that Neil Lennon will be, communicating to his players is that we've already done this once. If we come out here tomorrow and draw 1-1, we're through. So the same scoreline in Greece, the same performance as we had in Greece, and we're probably through the playoff round and within touching distance of the group stages. But there's still a game to be played, and there's still a team to face in Molde, who are a good side. I think we saw last week. You expect both sides to come out and attack, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have, similar to last week, maybe 10-15 minutes of the two feeling each other out.
One player who had such a key role in that result in Greece was Adam Bogdan. Probably, certainly his finest performance today for the club, and by the sounds of Neil's comments there, they're fairly hopeful that he'll be back in the team.
Yeah, and I think another inspired Adam Bogdan performance might be required. Some of the saves he made in the game against Asteras were fantastic, and top quality saves. And I think that was perhaps a sample of the level that he's played at previously, kind of shining through. When it required a big performance, he was able to produce it. We'll need another one of those tomorrow night, and it's obviously good to have him back in the team. But I think Ross has deputised really well. Made an absolutely phenomenal save from Matty Kennedy at the weekend. It was very unfortunate to lose a goal with a massive deflection. So Ross has pushed him hard for the gloves, but I think having Adam back for a game like this, it's a bit of a boost.
There was a steeliness to that performance in Greece that probably betrayed the lack of potential European experience that runs through the side. It felt like I'm not to say a coming of age for the squad, but it was a performance that certainly showed that we belonged and could compete at that level. Something else, that kind of performance will be required tomorrow.
Yeah, and the more European games we play, the more experience the squad gets. With the exception of maybe one or two of the players, a lot of these guys have never played Europa League football or never played European football before joining Hibs and before this season. So it's been a good way, I think, to initiate them into, they're effectively going through the same experience as the club. It's a complete sort of leap into not quite into the unknown, but a complete leap into something that they've never quite experienced before. And as long as they keep winning and keep going through, the confidence is going to keep flowing. That obviously breeds confidence among the other players who maybe are a little bit more experienced, who maybe don't feel they have to shoulder the weight so much. And it is, it's just that, it's just game time. It's playing in Europe and winning in Europe and producing performances like we did in Greece that just create that culture around the club.
Yeah, I think Leanne talked probably around the time of the AGM that the ambition for this club was not to be a once in a while European team, a yo-yo side that would enjoy periods of success followed by periods of a downturn. And I think there's a real determination around the club that runs like this, experiences like this, whilst it feels great and fresh and new just now, almost become the normal and part of the course.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think there'll be too many Hibs fans turning their noses up at another run like this next year. Maybe with some places that are a bit easier to get to, but it's obviously fantastic, and it's the only thing better than seeing Hibs once a week is seeing Hibs twice a week. So long may it continue.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that might suffer is the bank balances now.
It's not been a cheap trip. This has got to be said.
Absolutely. So I think we very much appreciate the supporters that have managed to travel at some point during the European run. There's clearly a great interest in the game from back home. You've maybe noticed on the website by now, but we've finally had clarification on the streaming of the game. So for those who maybe have missed it, Molde will be streaming the match on pay-per-view. I think for a kind of one-off fee of around €9, supporters across the world will be able to tune in and watch the game. Kick off at 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. local time. Now, obviously, we would have loved to have shown the game on Hibs TV. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be, to try and give a bit of background and kind of further information, I guess, for supporters wondering what the difference between this game and our two previous games. At these stages of European competition, the rights are held by the home side. So for games at Easter Road, Hibernian are in control of the rights and who can broadcast from the game and whatnot. For the games in the Faroes and in Greece, there's been a host broadcaster that's put the game on, which has then allowed the likes of Premier Sports or Hibs TV to be able to acquire the rights to show those games in certain territories. So for the last two games, we've been able to get the rights to show the game on video to our international subscribers and audio to UK, and Premier have been showing the game in the UK. We are also at the mercy of the home side in terms of what they choose to do with those rights. The good news certainly is that Molde are streaming the game, so supporters will be able to tune in and watch, which wasn't always a possibility. So I think that's fantastic news. Unfortunately, as hard as we've tried, and we've tried right the way through until Wednesday night, we've not been able to persuade them or convince them to provide Hibs TV with access. So appreciate disappointment from some of our subscribers, but we've done our best to try and negotiate those rights, and at the very least, hopefully supporters will be able to follow the feed online, follow our updates on Twitter and on Facebook. We will have full match replay and match and goal highlights available as soon as possible. We'll be flying back from Norway straight after the game, so it'll be a bleary-eyed Friday morning production. So hopefully we'll be able to get as much out as quickly as possible, and hopefully we'll make for pleasant viewing come Friday. So from us in Molde, that's everything from us. Enjoy the game on Thursday, and hopefully we'll be here next week to preview a trip to Minsk or St. Petersburg.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier, does it? Just, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Exactly. Thank you very much.